Hello, welcome back. As you can see, the tank transporter's finished. It's a Faun SLT 56, as if you've been watching the videos you'll already know. It's taken me 5 months to get it finished, and it is finished now. There's a couple of little bits that I've got to do, but basically it's neither here nor there. It's a fabulous looking kit, look at that. Beautiful, isn't it? At the end of the video I'll post loads of pictures, photographs. I'm not going to try and put them into sequence because I think it'll just become confusing, and I'm sure you guys will work it out as it goes along. And start the cab at the tractor. As you know, I wired all this up. These are the cables that go in. Had I thought about it when I first thought about the concept of wiring it up for all the lights, what I decided to do was put all the lights on separate switches, which are underneath that tarp there, as you can see. So that's what I decided to do, and what I didn't think about was the amount of wiring that would take, that would involve. So what I had to do was have a change of plan and put much of the wiring and the batteries underneath here. The other problem I had was that the flashing lights on the top and at the back there, also the indicators, wouldn't work on the same battery, and both of them need a 9-volt battery to work, so I've had to put 2 9-volt batteries underneath. I'll show you them later, and there'll also be, there's also loads of photographs up for them. The barrier here is, I made that from a straw, a cardboard straw, and fed the LEDs through it and then down through the post. They also needed their own batteries, so it's getting a bit like the national grid under there, but anyway, I divert. So what we've got is this wire. The truck will be displayed from the other side, this side here, so this wire is basically invisible when it's on display. Everything on it is really easy. I've done a video of the tractor unit, and as you know, a video of the trailer. This is just a video of it all put together, and not a lot that I've changed. I'm going to put a couple of jerry cans on the top there. I've weathered it a little bit. You can see the weathering on it, or maybe you can't. Let's have a look if you can. See if I can move this camera. Yeah, I think you can see some of the weathering on there. I've only done it lightly. A little bit at the front, on the front of the tractor there, and yeah, a little bit of muck on it is all I've done really on the tractor, and you'll see a little bit more as we go around. So that's the weathering on it. The tarp, I'm sure I've told you about, I made from a glasses wipe, which is a non-lint paper basically that's soaked in alcohol. You clean your glasses with them, and shaped it while it was still wet. The alcohol evaporates out of it, and that's what you get, and then paint it. I think that looks fairly reasonable. It's I can take it off. It's easy enough to do. As you can see, it's just a piece of white paper on the inside, and it holds its shape really quite well. Just sits over the top there. I didn't want to have those switches showing. It didn't look quite right to me, so that's why I put that on there. On the trailer, I've got a real problem with the trailer. I watched somebody's video, and I can't remember whose it was, and I wouldn't say anyway, but I watched somebody's video and they said to get a mud effect, a gritty mud effect, use bicarbonate of soda. So I did. It makes a fantastic muddy, gritty mud. However, when the paint dries, the white leaches through, which is what all that white is, all that white tide mark. Originally there was just a bit of white tide mark, now there's a huge one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to matte varnish the whole thing so that that completely seals the bicarbonate of soda, and then I'm going to put a black wash on top of it, and hopefully that will get rid of it. It's been a pain. I've been trying for 2 weeks now to get rid of it with various coats of wash and paint and all sorts, and it just hasn't worked. So that's why that looks a bit of a mess. Perhaps I should have paged it in a snowy scene, and that way it wouldn't have made any difference. And you can see in there it's dreadful, isn't it? There's huge amounts of it, and it just won't go away. But there you go. On the back there, let's do that first. You may remember I made some chain tensioners out of PVC tube, and at the back there it's a huge kit. This it's a big piece of plastic, so it's quite hard to get it all in focus. So the tensioners that I made, I rusted those up, and I think they look just about right. I need a little bit more burnt umber paint on the two fasteners. The two fasteners that come with it were made from a bit of cotton, so I've replaced those and replaced them with 0.5mm steel wire and bent it round, a hook on each end. And these, I'm sure that I've shown you already how I made those. If anybody wants more information on those, I'll gladly give it. I'll just drop me a comment in the comments box. But that's those, and that holds that all up quite well. It's not quite to the right scale. They're just a little bit off scale. They look a tiny bit too big, but I think I can live with that. Then what I did was I made 6 of them, because at some point I'm going to put a howitzer, a mobile self-propelled howitzer on here, and that will obviously go at the back. And these chains here at the front, the chains and dogs at the front, we used to call them dogs, I don't know what everybody else calls them, chain tensioners basically. The dogs will go 1, 2 on 4 of them, and they will form the loading straps. In the little cargo section there, put a few more bits of chain, the spare axle guides. Let's get out here a bit. The spare axle guides, you get 6 for the deck and 4 for the ramps. Obviously I'm not using them for the ramps, so I've just glued them into there. You might still be able to see them. Yeah, you can just see the edge. I've got to be a bit careful with this because it's not actually fastened down to the board. 3 jerry cans, I think I've explained those before. I moulded them out of resin. The jerry cans that came with it, I took one, made a mould of it, and then made another 6. Coming quite handy and a lot cheaper than buying them off somebody else. So that's those. And the Susies, again, they come in the kit. They come as little rubber tubes, and I decided to change them because I decided to change them, and I changed them to soft aluminium, black aluminium tubes. Made little plastic covers for the connectors on the end. I can't make stuff any smaller than that, so it doesn't look quite right, but it doesn't look that bad either, I don't think. And what else have I done? I'll move that in a minute. So when it's displayed, it will be out to the side there, and that's what it will look like when it's on display. And I think that looks quite impressive, especially when it's got a howitzer on the back of it. It'll look good. For the lights, the lighting, and if I can find the switches, he said with hope in his heart. There we go. So for the barrier lights, show you those first. The barrier lights, as I say, 5 LEDs flashing at alternate times. If anybody wants a wiring diagram for that, again, let me know. Put it in the comments box and I'll do my best to draw it out for you. So that's the barrier lights. The lights for the top here, let's take the cover off that, put it over here where it doesn't get crushed. And the first switch turns the headlights on. Second switch turns the cab light on, if I remember rightly. Yeah, so you can see inside the cab there. And a bit of dust on the windscreen, but that'll wipe off. So you can see inside the cab. And then it's the, oops, I think that's the fog lights at the back. No, it's not. I don't know what that's for. Yes, it's the fog lights. Okay, so there's a fog light on the back there, and there's also one on the back of the tractor. You can just see it underneath there. Yeah. The next one is the reversing lights. No, it's not, it's the side lights. So all the side lights come on all the way along the trailer, and the two at the back there. The next one, I'm hoping will be the reversing lights, is the working lights on the top. And this one is, God knows, it does something, I just can't remember what it is. But there you go, they're all on there now. So that's everything lit up there. To turn on the flashing lights, I bought a dibber. And it don't work. There you go. It's always easier if you turn it on, isn't it? So there are the flashing lights. You can see the amber one at the back here on the ramps, the loading ramps. And for the indicators, which are set to hazard lights, there you go, they're flashing on the corners. And they flash at the same time. To quite a bit of wiring to get the beacons to flash at the same time at one speed, and the indicators to flash at the same time at a different speed. That works on the back of the truck as well. You can just see them, not as bright at the back because it's a much smaller light, it's a very small light. And on the trailer as well, you can see the lights and the hazard lights flashing away there, and the beacon of course on the top. And that's about all there is to show you on there. So I'll turn that back around, and what I'm going to do is I'll take the truck off, and then let's turn some of this off. I'll show you the wiring and tell you how I made the base. Okay, so to move it off, it's simply a case of unplug that piece of wire there, and then we're on our way. So, I'll turn those off. So, what I've done is, it's a piece of MDF, 10mm thick MDF, wrong way. It's a piece of MDF there, 10mm thick, and I've sat it on 3 pieces of 2B1 and screwed those up through it. The top, which I think looks quite good, it looks like to me it looks like a tarmac road anyway, and I've been on enough of them. Looks like a tarmac road. I've left it in good condition rather than beating it up, and that is a piece of roofing felt, light duty roofing felt, the type that you use for putting a roof on your shed, and then I've painted it with a black wash. I then masked it out. Again, there'll be a load of photographs at the end, you can browse through those. Masked it all out to paint the white lines on it. They came out alright. Because it's rough, the paint seeps underneath the masking in some places, but it wasn't too bad. Wasn't too hard at all. This bit, the fence, I've made out of 2mm square pieces of wood. You can buy it dirt cheap, balsa wood or whatever kind of wood that they sell on Amazon or wherever. And basically it's a kind of fence that you see a lot in the UK. I don't know about the rest of the world. It stands on posts, obviously, otherwise it wouldn't be a fence. And then they've turned the timber over at 90 degrees so that the sharp edge is all the way along the top. And it does two things. One, it'll make the timber last a lot longer, because when it rains on it, the water runs off so it doesn't lie on top of the timber. And also it's extremely uncomfortable to sit on, so people don't tend to sit on your fence and have their sarnies at lunchtime. So that's just a cynical side of me, but I would imagine that's quite a common thought with when the councils put them up. The barrier I've made here, I scratch built it, and it's a simple one. All I've done is put nuts and bolts in there, little bit of tubing to put it together, to make it look as though it's bolted down to the ground. Let me get my pen. So basically just squares of PVC sheet, 1mm thick PVC sheeting, and on the other side I've made it look a bit more like a girder. The light's not doing that much of any favours really, is it? I don't know if you can see that or not, to be honest. Anyway, it is. I've made it to look like a girder, and some pretend bolts to make it look as though it's down to the floor. The camera's showing up that little bit of red paint there, much more than you can see it with the naked eye. So that's made like that. This is, as I mentioned earlier, is a wooden straw, and put it across, passing it into here, it carries all the wires. There's 10 wires in there, one way or another, 10 wires and 5 LEDs. And it all runs through there and then down through that capstan to the underneath, to the wiring underneath. It was quite difficult to paint it, to be honest, because it's paper, it soaks up all the paint, but there you go, such is life. Now then, underneath, as I say, I end up doing a lot more wiring than I really wanted to, if the truth be known. And let's see if I can stand that up there. Yeah, that's okay. So the wiring for the barrier is that one along there, and then that goes into this PCB. They're all scratch built because nobody's going to make one for you like this. You've got 3 switches. That's why I was growling around underneath looking for switches, because they're hard to find when you can't see them. A little 12 volt battery runs the barriers. One of these 9 volt batteries runs the beacons, and the other one runs the normal static lights. So the flashing lights run off one, and the standard non-flashing lights I run off the other, and that's the way. It's the only way I could get it to work. All this wiring here goes into like a junction box, and then off and up to the wire that's poking through at the top there, and that plugs into the truck. And inside the truck, I'll just put the truck back on here again. Hopefully this is the last time I pick it up, because I don't want to damage it while I'm doing that. And again, just to plug it in at the side there, and if you turn it on, everything goes again. Yeah, so it plugs in quite easily. All the wiring for the truck and the circuit boards as well, again there'll be photographs of it at the end of the video, are all underneath this engine cover. As you can see, anybody that knows this truck will know straight, or they'll see it straight away. That engine cover's quite a lot higher than it would be in real life, and it's there because the wiring just wouldn't fit underneath it, so I had to put a 5mm extension around the side, if you like, so it'll lift it up a little bit. And that is about it. I'll just show you where the wires go. The wires for the trailer go underneath there. I think you can see that. The proof of the pudding is that they're not easy to see because I forgot about them. So that one needs a little bit more green paint on it, and on the other side the same thing, but you can hardly see it at all on that side, and it's sitting there. Needs a bit more green paint on it, needs another coat of green paint on it. As I say, that's about the lot, that's it, there's nothing more. I'm very happy with that. As I say, it's taken me 5 months to build it. There's a couple of little bits that need doing yet. I need a surround around the 2x1 legs on it. I need to fix that trailer. I probably won't do that until I build the howitzer and put it on there and finish it all off. I will of course show it all again when it's put on the, when it's finished in its finished position with the howitzer on it, and I'm happy with that. Any questions, any comments, please leave them in the boxes below, in the comments section below. It would be fantastic if you could like, subscribe, and even share the video if you wouldn't mind. And thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Ta-da!